Welcome back to the Connex High Level Forum. Please be reminded that we have Spanish and French translation. For questions, please use our question function, and my co-moderator Sun Min will be happy to feed as many as possible into the conference. So Min, could you just join us for a second so that people can actually see you? Thank you very much. Here you are. Hi, Sun Min. Good to see you. You monitor our question function, and since you're an expert in the field, you actually know what you're doing, and then you will later during the Q&A session, you will feed that into our sessions. I'm really looking forward to the questions that may come from the audience today. Thank you very much for doing this for us. Thank you. I'm Thomas, and I'm your moderator for these 2 days. And so far, we have stressed the importance and relevance of contracts for development of sustainable infrastructure and also for climate change. Dr. Koffler from the BMZ here in Germany explained why this topic is of utmost importance for the German government. And our first panelists have emphasized not only the case for transformation, but also have outlined how this kind of negotiation support needs to be done. The representative from the African Union, Dr. Kasaura, has told us the tremendous need in Africa for investments in infrastructure. And of course, that this needs also a lot of private investment and therefore good contracts that need to be negotiated. And the European Union also stressed that she actually sees not only the dimension of and severeness of the problems, but also sees being a regulator herself, sees herself also in a position where it can take actually responsibility. That's all super, but it's very generic. And this is why I'm really looking forward to this session, because we will go into the field, we will learn from experiences, and we called it storytelling, so that we have invited 3 distinguished guests who actually can share their stories from different sectors and regions in the world. And I'd like briefly to introduce you to them, and then the floor is to them so that we can listen to their story. The first one is Santiago Pérez Ospina. He's the Director of Mining Development in the Antioquia region of Colombia. He is eventually also, or equally, an adjunct professor at the National University of Colombia. Welcome, Santiago, to the forum. We only have a picture of you. I know that you're hearing me because you are on the way to the airport. As expert, you need to travel a lot, but thanks for making it possible. Then we have Madame Roseline Mebaya Carlos, and she's the Director General of Mines at the Ministry of Mines and Geology in Senegal. Thank you for being with us, Roseline. By training, Roseline is a geological engineer who graduated from the Institute of Earth Science at the Cheikh Anta Diop University in Dakar. And she has years of experience in administration and regulating of mining and has equally implemented large international projects. Welcome, Roseline. I'm really glad you can make it possible to be with us and to share your perspective. And last but not least, we have Dennis Gadera. He is the head of Transaction Division at the Rwanda Development Board. He is an experienced investment consultant and risk analyst, and Dennis oversees the team which works firsthand on investment contracts negotiation with international investors, so right the man on the table also. Dennis, we are very pleased to have you with us. We will start with Santiago. Yeah, hi. We will start with Santiago. And Santiago, which story is it that you want to tell with us? And please make sure that you drive carefully. Santiago, the floor is yours.
Hello, Richard. How are you? Yeah, I'm so sorry that I cannot be like with the camera on. Well, as you said, I'm from Colombia, but I'm currently in Nicaragua. So yeah, I'm so sorry. Well, I would like to first thank Connex for the for the support that they provided us with the contract negotiation. It's been really useful for us. We had a project in a mining project that it was a very big project, and so we were just like 6 or 7 people in the team, and we had to assess a project that was done by hundreds of consultants, and we had 3 months to assess what they did in 15 years. So it was a very challenging task what we had, and that's why we always think that Connex help us quite a lot, and yeah, that is basically what we had to do. We have to approve or not approve the project, right? And we as a government always want to make decisions, like very technical decisions that can provide the better for the people. So it was a very challenging decision that we had to make, and yeah, the help we received from Connex was very helpful. That's like a general context. I don't know if you, Richard, want me to go into some more details, or we'll have another space in a minute, in a few minutes. I don't know, just tell me, and I can do whatever.
Just pointing to the story where you had a huge project and almost no time and no resources, and you're saying Connex could actually help you a lot. But can you a little bit describe more how exactly could Connex help you in this project? What did they do right? What did they do at all, Santiago?
Oh, okay, perfect. So yeah, so we had as I said, a big mining project, and we needed help with the geomechanics, with hydrogeology, with financial modeling, and some social aspects. So that was the help we received. It was just in those 4 topics. But as I said, when you open the study that was given to the government by the company, you could see that most of the reports were signed by consultants that are like the authors of the books that everybody reads. So when you are in front of a report like that, even if you think you are prepared, then you start doubting, because it's like, oh, this is the person that I studied, that I learned from, and now I have to assess their work. So when you are in that position, that just like, trust me, it's a very difficult position, because it's like the people you learn from, now you are like, in some sense, you are assessing them. So it's very challenging. And in the country, we didn't have the expertise in that very particular topic. So because Connex like help us with with another company that was like at the same level as they are. So you start like getting confidence, right? You feel more confident, and you sort of level the table up, right? Because I cannot say the name of the company, but what I can say is that company might easily have the same value as our annual budget, as a government. So
Yeah. Okay.
it's
Very big.
those are very big companies, right?
Yeah. But Santiago, thank you, because that actually adds to the picture that you're saying we as partners in these development countries, when these companies are coming, it's not only that they have huge budget and experiences, they're also big names. Maybe people you actually learned from them, you read their books, and now you should be with them on the same eye level, as we say in Germany, and that sometimes can be hard. So having a partner like Connex in the background, if I understood you correctly, helps you on one side to identify the issues you need actually to assess, like hydrology, financial modeling, social aspects, but also helps you to be more equal on the table when negotiating with these big names. And I think that's an aspect I haven't seen before. So thank you very much, Santiago, for sharing this. And please stay with us. I would like now to give the floor to Roseline Mbaye Carlos. And as I said before, she is from Senegal, Director General of Mines at the Ministry of Mines and Geology. And without further ado, Roseline, which story you want to share or which perspectives you want to share with us? She will speak French, so you might turn into English translation. Roseline, bienvenue.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Hello to everybody. It is a great pleasure to be here today with all of you. As Thomas said, I'm going to speak French. I'm really sorry about the English-speaking crowd today, but I would like to share with you the experience that we had in Senegal with Connex. They offered a great support, and this has been the case for the past 2 years. We negotiated mining contracts in Senegal, and it was a very complex process. First of all, I would like to tell you a little more about the context in Senegal and thank also the GIZ and Connex for their help throughout the process. Senegal is a developing country, and the mining sector is one of the priorities of the government today, because we want to implement a new policy for development on a socio-economic level. And why? Because the mining sector has a great potential for the rest of the economy of Senegal. And it is a very attractive sector because it attracts direct investment from abroad. And this allows to generate revenues in the budget of our state. This also creates jobs for the young population of Senegal. You know, 50% of our population, I think 65% of the population is very young, and there is a lot at stake nowadays in the mining sector. And that is why Senegal has undertaken a great deal of reforms at the legal level, institutional level as well, so that the mining sector could really be a lever for development. But this is not enough, as you can imagine. I'm sure you will agree that this is not enough. You also need contracts. And this is how we got in touch with Connex. Connex was able to give us a more technical overview, a more expert scope on negotiation. Now we are negotiating, and we're negotiating with people who are experts, people who are investors that have been working on these documents for years and years, and then they submit these documents to us, and we have to analyze them. And sometimes the balance is not fair, if you see what I mean, because they have much more information, much more background than us. And we want to make sure that we have the best results with these contracts. And this is where Connex was really helpful, because we had at our disposal the expertise of many people. We had two main mining projects with the help of experts. We received technical expertise, a re-evaluation of the documents that were submitted at the level of geology, the geology of the soil, the resources, and we also received legal assistance to interpret the texts, the conventions in the mining sector, because in this one specific case, we had a merger or an integration between two very complex projects. So it was an even more complicated project. And we received also a financial and a social economic analysis so that we could get results of what was going to happen if the project was happening. So I don't know, Thomas, if I have answered your question, but this is just to give you an overview of what happened with Connex, and we can then maybe talk about the results that we've reached thanks to this support. And then I would like to talk also about the recommendations that we were given and the recommendations that we could maybe give to improve the work that we carry out together with Connex. Do you have more questions maybe for me, more targeted questions, or should I continue? We can go either way.
Yeah. No, thank you so far, Roseline. It's perfect. It just confirms for me the necessity of this kind of support to balance out the power game at the table, because you're negotiating with very experienced people, and through Connex, or you actually got the access to the expertise you needed so that you could make knowledge-based decisions yourself. So Connex not actually took away the power of decision-making from you. They supported you and gave you the knowledge and access to knowledge so that you could make better decisions and better negotiate it. That I understood. So yes, I would be really interested in the outcomes you had. And maybe then we go to our next speaker, to Dennis, and then we will come to what you could recommend to other countries or other people who negotiate. Would that be okay with you, Roseline, that we first learn about the outcomes and the impact that this had?
Yes, I'll gladly speak about the major results we got with our project.
Yeah.
First of all,
Please.
it was about an evaluation and verification of the information we got. It was about doing a kind of fact check. We had additional sources, complementary sources, and this is why it was very important to check whether all the information we got was correct. And the experts we were able to draw on allowed us to do all of the groundwork, the footwork, so to say. They helped us do this technical evaluation, and they even gave us access to data which our government didn't have access to. So this was very valuable. Thanks to Connex, we had a lot of technical information, even project information and data, which we couldn't draw on, not even our government. We had a lack of income. We have been able to compensate a lack of income because of the vigilance of our financial and legal experts. We have been able to increase the state revenue. I think it was about 37 billion francs CFR. So if you convert it to euros, I think that would be about 20 million euros if I haven't converted it incorrectly. So this was additional income which we had for our state coffers. And this came on top of the initial income we had planned with this project. So this was a major benefit. Another aspect that we have been able to build capacities in our teams. Capacity building has been an important aspect. Learning by doing is one of the basic methods. So it wasn't only about helping our teams to get better negotiating skills, but we've really worked on the practical case. Experts helped us during the negotiation negotiation phase on the spot during the practical phase. And this is something that has been very important for us because we will go about negotiations in a different way in future. We've seen that the negotiating team has to be well prepared, needs to have all the legal and practical information to have proper negotiations and to see eye to eye with the investors, again, to have better income for our state. So this is something that has also been extremely important, and I would like to share this lesson with you. So you really need to have experts who are very knowledgeable and who can support governments at the negotiating table.
Yeah, thank you very much again. So beside that, actually more money in revenues came to the state, you're also stressing out that this learning by doing and building capacity in our teams and having this experience and reflected the experience so that next time you will actually be better prepared to do these kind of negotiation, because now you know what is important and how to get access to the data and how important the preparation of negotiation is. That helped you a great deal in doing this, what you did, and actually also enabled you to be a little bit more independent from the expert maybe in the future, because you built the capacity yourself in your team and in your government. Did I understand you correctly so far?
Yes, exactly. Absolutely. This sums up the situation spot on. I think that the governments will always need assistance. We will always need expertise. And even if we have been able to develop our own know-how, but we are dealing with investors who have more resources and they have more means, and they have huge study offices, study firms and consultants at their disposal. And that means that the governments also need to have access to experts, high-ranking firms to help us with negotiations, to see eye to eye and be on an equal footing. So even if we have been able to build our capacities, and although we've benefited from this help, we still need help for future negotiations. We will still need experts to back us up when we're dealing with investors. And especially cross-cutting expertise is something we need.
Yeah, Roseline, and I think that having access to experts and getting consultation and support is not a sign of being weak. For me, it's always a sign of being very strong, that you're so strong that you even can go and get expertise from other people. So that is my view on how to use expertise. Thank you so much. Please stay with us because we want also to hear your recommendations later. But now I cannot wait to hear Dennis. And as I said before, Dennis is from Rwanda, from the development board of the bank there. And from this financial perspective, I would be also interested to learn from you, because that again is a different angle that we are taking now. You as an investment consultant and risk analyst, which story you want to share with us from your perspective, and then we come to an exchange with the three of you about lessons learned. But now the floor is yours, Dennis. We are glad you're with us.
Oh, thank you very much. Hopefully everyone can hear me. So I guess so maybe I could start with the structure of the team that I lead. Yeah. So the transactions team is tasked with negotiating deals on behalf of the government. It's made up of financial analysts, legal analysts, PPP analysts too. Now, when we have a deal in front of us or a transaction where government is going to get involved, we normally get the technical help from the line ministry that will be involved. It's the Ministry of Infrastructure, it's the Ministry of Health. They come in and kind of offer the technical support. So kind of those three main pillars where you're talking about financial, legal, and technical. Now, what we've gotten from our partnership with Connex is that they have been able to come in and support in those three major pillars. So they've been able to offer financial, specifically financial help, where they bring people with a financial background, help us review models, structure or even checks, sensitivity analysis, do all of that. You have the legal part where they come with a law firm that helps you look at the contract, identify areas where it, where it could be the risk on the government side, drafting wise, and then also, as importantly, on the technical side, where you're looking at, if it's an infrastructure project, you're looking at the one example I have is for a ring road, and it's a major infrastructure project that the government is taking on, and Connex has been able to come in and offer specific help on the technical side for that, because I think Santiago touched on it earlier. In most governments, you won't have the capacity, the technical capacity that's equal to that in the private sector. So if one goes out and does a feasibility study, spends months or years with lots of consultants behind it, and brings that in front of you, you need as equal resources to review that and also question where there might be gaps, and having people just with the capacity to do that, and also be able to say, all right, once you come up with maybe an issue, you have people who are their solution hats on to help unlock it and move the deal forward. The government of Rwanda would like to think that we work like the private sector, so we try to work as fast as possible, turn things around, decision making, approvals. We try and move as quickly as possible. Sometimes even to the level even not faster than the private sector. So with that means you need the right people giving you the right information, looking at everything thoroughly from the bottom up to make sure that once you make the decision, you make the right decision and you're not maybe left government exposed. So this this work that they've done is just, you have someone in your corner that provides you the capacity that, or even the information that you might not ordinarily have. Now, to get the same type of information or the same type of help, government would actually have to go out and spend a lot of money to then get the right help, bring that for these specific deals. Now, because of the multiple of transactions that come in, but any government deals with, that would be a very strenuous item on the budget if they had to constantly go out and get expertise. And that's the part where Connex comes in and helps and bridges that gap, where they're able to come in, offer you help, you give them kind of the deal that or the type of assistance you need, and they connect you with the right people. Now, if the government was to go on itself and look for those people, we might not get the right help, or it might come at a price. So Connex comes in and just helps government in that, and where you're now sitting across the table from maybe the private sector, and you are at the same level as some of my other colleagues kind of mentioned. The specific one, I think I just touched on it, is a ring road. It's a huge infrastructure project, and Connex has come in to offer financial help and technical help, and they also have on standby legal help when we get to that point. So just a bit on kind of the different areas where Connex has been of support. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. Also for sharing. If I got this right, it's a little bit like also Rosaline's experience with the project, that getting these experts to the right people actually helped you a great deal in making better decisions and eventually better contracts, and with this hopefully better outcomes to the country, and so that you actually get a real impact for the development. I understood this. Now the next thing is that what would you, with your experience from these kind of projects and working with experts from Connex, what would you suggest to other countries? And that is one question. But also, I don't know if you know this, but I would be interested. What hinders other governments to call for a negotiation support services? That also would be interesting. So what you actually can tell other countries why they should do this, and what do you think, with your experience, what actually hinders other governments actually to call for these kind of support if it is so efficient? These are the two questions to the three of you. And maybe we start with Roseline right now, and then I go to Santiago in the car, and then back to Dennis. Yeah, Roseline.
Oh, thank you very much, Thomas, for giving me the floor. I would like to start with the last question, and I can talk from our own experience. I have to say that we were maybe late adopters. We got an offer, we were offered help from Connex, and it took us some time to make up our mind to really use the help of the experts and the services. And I think it really took us a concrete situation to see reason. In some countries, maybe contract negotiations have already gone on, and maybe you don't really see the need to use experts if you're not really in this concrete situation of negotiating a contract. Well, anyway, in Senegal, it took us some time to see the use of experts, but when we were finally in the stage where we were negotiating a specific contract, a concrete situation, we then decided to use the help of the Connex experts that were offered. And we know that developing countries are facing lots of challenges. The education sector, the healthcare sector, and sometimes you might also be facing dilemmas or conflicting interests. And I have to say that thanks to the help we got from Connex, we had experts available to us who contributed know-how and expertise. We also wanted to know about recommendations we could possibly share in order to make more use of Connex services. Well, one thing that is very important is to transfer know-how. We do have international experts, but as far as Senegal is concerned, we have to say that they have to work with national experts. We need to share knowledge. It's important to make sure that we transfer knowledge to local or national experts. It doesn't matter whether we're talking about financial expertise, legal or technical expertise or assistance, but I think it would really be important to make sure that such projects also help to transfer knowledge to local or national stakeholders or experts. They are very knowledgeable in their own sector, and they might have some experience in negotiating contracts, and maybe it would be good to have their names in the database so that you can also draw on their expertise when you're looking for international experts.
That's super.
There is another point I would like to emphasize, and that's capacity building, strengthening the skills of your own teams. I said before that there was the approach of learning by doing, but we've really had targeted training on individual topics, which has been extremely helpful for us. But I also think that theory is one thing, practical learning is something else. And this is something that has helped our teams. We have, for example, looked at feasibility studies, geological studies. We had those who were applying for licenses who supplied geological studies and feasibility studies, and it was really helpful to take a look at such documents in a very specific setting. It is already happening, but maybe this should be given greater emphasis in future measures. This is at least something that we've seen in Senegal. We still have a long way to go together with Connex. I talked about one concrete project before, and we really hope that this was not the end of this process. We hope that this was just the first milestone on a long journey, and we hope that our country will be able to benefit from more support in the future. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for sharing this. And I really like to hear also from Santiago and Dennis that once a government is in a concrete situation and accept that it actually needs support and help, then maybe the obstacles to ask and to call for an initiative like Connex actually goes down. That is what I understood, but also that from your expertise, you're saying transfer the expertise also to local stakeholders and in the nation, so that you can actually in the future have more of the knowledge in your region and in your country would help. And that led you to capacity building, which you just wanted to add. It's not only learning by doing, it's also actually training, evaluating, and reflecting what you're doing in order to build the capacity in your team. I'm really curious if what Santiago has what he would suggest to other countries from his experience. And then later we come with a question from the audience. But first Santiago, and then Dennis. Santiago, you're still with us?
Thank you. Yeah, so, well, I wouldn't doubt as a country to encourage other countries to contact Connex. I would say I don't know from like different continents, but as far as South America, maybe Latin America is concerned, I would say that we have like a very similar legal framework. So I'm pretty sure that we can all work with Connex and it is important, like the timing, right? So they were like very quick, and that's very important because you can get a lot of different programs and like international help, but they are not as quick as Connex, right? So we had the perfect timing, I would say. So I would encourage other countries to not hesitate on contacting Connex. What I can say.
Okay. Super. Yeah, thanks for adding this. They're saying, okay, that if Connex or if a initiative like this comes into the country, it's important that it has actually a quick response and that the timing is crucial for these kind of consultation work. My last speaker is Dennis, and also from your experience from your country, what would you consult other countries or governments? And then I have a question from our audience, and then we will finish this plenum. So Dennis, what would you suggest from your experience?
Thank you. So I guess what I would suggest to other governments is the mindset sometimes is for only government officials or people on the government side to think about the solution or tackle it and push it all the way through. And if someone is not quote unquote government, then they're not looking out for the best interests of the government. And what we have found in our experience is that Connex has come in as a credible partner who has been able to advise government and add a lot of value to deals as far as giving information. In some of the countries that we're in, some of the industries that are growing, you don't have as much information as you'd like, because they're not as fully as developed. And Connex comes in and gives you advice on how to de-risk such projects, also balance it from a private-public perspective. So even if the mindset is always to maybe huddle on the government side, opening up and having a partner like Connex who will get you help, not only help, but also the right help is key, because those are the people who make you overall for a better deal, whereby the private sector is happy, the public sector is happy, and the country benefits as overall. And also, as the beauty about Connex is that it's not tied to maybe one specific industry or one specific sector where they have expertise. you know, they're able to open up to a whole wide range of sectors, a whole wide range of people with different skill sets, that will come in and add value to the negotiation, add value to the final agreement, add value to the contract. Maybe that's what I would maybe suggest to other countries. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. What I heard from you is they're saying this was so valuable that Connex actually helped us because they have access to all these experts, maybe experts we would never get to know. And what I also heard from you is that, yeah, they're of course strong in supporting the government, but at the end of the day, since we got a deal that was more fair, that actually everybody walked happily from the table. So even the private sector kind of gets a positive impact from the help of a external consultant entity like Connex. And if everybody walks happy from the table, of course, the contract will be much more sustainable because it actually profits all sides. And I think that is also very important for our later panels, because some people would argue, yeah, the private companies, they want a weak government. And obviously that is not true. They want also have somebody to negotiate on equal footprint. That's an interesting insight you're giving us. But now I would like to turn to Sun Min. She moderates our question function, and I think she has a question from the audience for you. Hi, Sun Min.
That specifically alludes to the, do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, excellent. So I have a question that actually specifically alludes to the cooperation or communication with the experts. The question, and it could go to all three of you. You spoke of international experts. I'm curious to know how your day-to-day interaction and dynamics with the experts were. Did you work together virtual or in country? You also spoke of multiple experts, of multiple expertise. How did the cooperation or coordination in that regard work out for you?
Super. Who wants to answer this? Roseline? You want to start, and then Dennis and Santiago, so that we have.
Yes, sure. I can share with you the experience of Senegal when it comes to the cooperation with the team of the government and the experts that we had working with us. We had, as I said, several experts that came to Senegal. They actually traveled, so they had the possibility to meet the team, know what is at stake in the project. We shared with them all the information we had, even confidential information was shared with the experts, because we wanted to make sure we would have the best support possible, the best expertise possible. And that is why we wanted to create a real dialogue with the experts. And we are trying to mine their minds, so to speak. We wanted to know what they can share with us and what type of expertise would be most relevant. We had also some legal people who talked to technicians and to people that were experts in finances. We mixed also groups of knowledge so that all the expertise available from these people could be used by different resources. We wanted to make sure that all the members of the negotiation group had the possibility to meet every single type of expert. And of course, in the course of time, experts could not travel all the time. So we also had virtual meetings. We organized video conferences, and this allowed us to have, or at least to give the government all types of expertise and the possibility to make a decision that was informed through many different aspects that we discussed. Because, you know, legal aspects might have repercussions on financial issues or economic possibilities, and also on the technical level. And that is why we wanted all the experts to talk to all the different sectors that were involved in the project, and it was a great method.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Roseline. I'm afraid we have to come to an end with this session. Very sorry. But thank you very much. I think we put light on some of the issues that actually having access to these kind of experts, getting the support by an initiative like Connex actually helps, as Roseline just put it, and also Dennis and Santiago stressed it, help governments to make informed decisions, and at the same time helps them to in capacity building, to better contracts. From what Dennis stressed, every side ideally should actually profit from, and not just one side, so that you actually have a fair contract at the end and sustainable development. I thank you all for this. We also highlighted a little bit the dynamic, how to actually, I liked, Roseline, your expression of mining the knowledge of the experts. And with this saying, thank you very much for this, for me, very interesting session. Thank to all of our speakers. Santiago, take care in Nicaragua and stay healthy there. And to all of you, thanks for making the effort to being here. We have another 15-minute break now, and then we will have our last session today on the practicalities around sustainable infrastructure. Thank you very much so far, and have a nice evening wherever you are. Thank you.